Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, we are gonna be taking a look at all of the Heart of Fire champions, and I'm gonna give you my own personal thoughts about them and effectively rank them in the order in which champions I desire the most, well, the least to the most type situation. So which ones I think are going to be the best and most useful, and which ones perhaps less so. And again, keep in mind, this is my opinion, with my perspective, with my outlook on the game, with my priorities. You might have differentiating priorities in the game. That's fine. But I will do my best to also explain and rationalize why I think the way I do, because I already can hear the comments about quote unquote brain rot and stuff like Battlegrounds brain rot, but I do have very good argumentation, in my opinion, why I choose to view things the way I do. But you can obviously drop down a list of your own champions the way you would rank them. The first things first, I'm not going to rank Dark Phoenix. I'm using Phoenix as a character model here, but Dark Phoenix is a brand new champion, which we know very, very little about. We have no gameplay experience, no relevance on the defense yet, no impact on the meta. And ultimately, she's also not necessarily in the crystal. She's going to be the final milestone. So I think it's only fair that we kind of leave her alone. But her being top 3 prestige, her being probably a crazy good defender, will more than likely mean that she is going to be sought after, relevant, needed, used, and what have you. But there we go. Dark Phoenix is kind of out of the ranking by default. So let's move on next. And first up, I care about Apoch the least. And there's a very good reason for it. Anything that needs doing in the game around whatever areas, we can still do with maxed out 6 stars, with ascended 6 stars, or 7-star rank 2s, and ultimately you end up doing it with the champions that you have ranked up anyways. That is to say, when you see a new Eternity of Pain challenge, you're just going to use the champions that you have ranked, even if, for instance, Apoch would be as good of a counter to something as Onslaught is. You know, if one of them I already have ranked, I'll just use Onslaught and I'll not lose sleep about it. And that is to go with an argument that I think Apoch is great for a ton of things, like questing, for instance, potentially, especially if you synergize him up. I think he's great for abreast content, like Necropolis, if you synergize him up. I think he is useful for Alliance War, so it is good to have Apoch in the battle group, especially if he's going to be like 7-star rank 3 or rank 4. I think he's going to be worthwhile defender potentially in the Alliance War. Maybe. We'll see about that. But here comes the bigger things. Number one, on a personal level, my 6-star Apoch didn't make it past rank 3. That means at no point since we were at the 6-star rank 3 max level, I felt it necessary to rank up my Apoch. I didn't take him to rank 4, I didn't take him to rank 5, I didn't ascend him, and I never really felt the need for it. So, as before I said, he is, let's say, good for Necropolis. Right, great. I brought him as a rank 3 and used him to give somebody a free fight. He would potentially be good also for doing the fights. Let's say if you have him ranked up, but Onslaught and Sinister were fine too. Or if you don't like them, you can use Storm or North Star or a whole bunch of different champions. It means that it wasn't the type of content that I felt necessary to rank up something specifically for that. I was perfectly fine and capable for dealing with whatever challenges came to me, you know, with whatever champions I had already ranked up. Therefore, I don't find it necessary to rank up these champions. And also, somebody told me, this is the game, you should rank up champions that you like. That is entirely true, and I completely agree with it. There's nothing wrong with ranking up Apoch if you really want to, but I have never been like the biggest fan of his playstyle. Similar to how I have never been the biggest fan of, let's say, Onslaught's playstyle, but he serves a purpose to me, therefore he is ranked. When it comes to the champions that I enjoy using a ton and I think are awesome fun, every single thing in the game I have been fine with using those champions as 7-star rank 2s. Like, I don't know, Deathless She-Hulk, for example. She did the entire Necropolis path as 7-star rank 2, and I didn't, felt the need to have her at rank 3. So ultimately, that's my approach with Apoch. If I'm gonna get him, cool. I'll probably take him to rank 3. I might use him somewhere here and there, but it is extremely unlikely I would bring him up. And the worst thing here is that I think Abam actually made a massive mistake. If they just added one line of text here, plus 2 genetic code when you enter the Battlegrounds match. That's it. That's all he needed, I think. And then I think he would be relevant. And I know somebody's going to call this Battlegrounds brain rot or something, but it really isn't. Because again, if I'm going to get him, and if I'm really going to want to use him, I can use him as 7-star rank 2, or I can rank up the 6-star. It's just not the type of thing that I feel like I desperately need. But it's kind of nice to have. And therefore, Immortal Abomination is potentially higher, because there is better chance that he actually gets ranked up to, let's say, rank 3, if he becomes significant enough. Ultimately, I am interested more in Immortal Abomination because I think he potentially has bigger role to play in competitive play. Because obviously, besides being able to catch people on defense, if they do not have a poison immune champion or somebody who can tackle that, with him being shackled from the prison of inequity, he will be decent-ish enough attacker as well. And that might synergize extremely well with some of the metas that enhance dots or, empower science champions or let him answer like specific fights better than most. I don't think he's the type champion I absolutely must have. But again, I do think there is a bigger possibility of me wanting to rank him up and me finding a use for him. Not the biggest fan of IBOM, but, I did have my 6-star ranked up. I got a fair amount of use of him, and I think he's solid. I think him not getting affected by inequity is going to make a decent amount of difference. I think he's going to be finishing his Battlegrounds fights in 50 plus 60 some seconds, and that's not fast by any means, but again, for a dual purpose, very versatile science attacker, I think it could be enough. Again, not one of my top choices here, but I still think I would get more value out of iBomb than Apoch. Now the top 3. And top 3, honestly, all 3 are amazing. I think every single one of the top 3 champions is somebody that I really, really want. Spot number 3, I am going to give to the future AntMan. Where did he go? There you go. Future AntMan, it's mainly kind of based on personal preference. But the reason why I'm taking him a bit lower is because I'm somewhat worried about how well he will incorporate himself back into the metagame. Because a lot of things have changed. He's not necessarily going to be the best counter for many of the mutants. Like, we have quite few new powerful tech champions in Shocker that's running around, and, Jack-o'-lantern and whatnot. Now, I love using this guy. I think he, again, has relevance in Alliance War and just about everywhere else as a dual-purpose threat. And that is, like, one of the best things about him. With Galen making a comeback, him being one of the champions that can't get nuked by Galen is also cool. Obviously, the fact that he's kind of vulnerable to pierces, but Hulkling still being 6-star gated and Valkyrie kind of being forgotten by time means that, some of his hard counters are not present. But again, at the same time, I do think in between Thanos, in between some other additions to the Cosmic class like Scream and whatnot, it's going to be interesting. I think he's going to do well, but I'm not 100% convinced. And this, again, same thing goes for offense and defense. I'm not 100% convinced how well he will do majority of the hard fights in the game. Like, your photons, your onslaughts, and what have you. And I'm not convinced how well he's going to hold out in defense. There's a lot of testing to be had here. I am fully, willing to concede the point that he might actually move on to the very, very top spot as the most useful champion of the batch. But I'm just not particularly certain quite yet there. All that said, he's still great, and I think a lot of people have forgotten how amazing he is. He can function as a tech nuke. One of the coolest thing about FAM has and was and always has been the fact that you can do entire fights without letting opponent drop a special attack. That is huge if you're willing to take some chip damage. If not, he is a fairly fast champion. He also synergizes extremely well with attack modifications, which is quite huge. It means there will be a ton of quest nodes where he absolutely nukes, which means there's going to be alliance wars where he can absolutely nuke. And there will be, metas and whatnot where he's just absolutely crazy. So yeah, I want FAM. I look forward to getting him. I would even potentially consider taking him to rank 4 as well, if he does well enough. He's the type of situation where I definitely won't take him to rank 3, and I don't think I would have regrets about that. If he does well enough, I would be considering rank 4 of FAM as well. So he's that level of a champion in my eyes. He hopefully will make a proper return to, let's say, top 5 in tech class. That would be amazing. Move on. Second place, Nick Fury. I actually went back and forth here for the first and second place because it is absolutely unquestionable that there are more counters than Nick Fury out there. We have Danny Moonstar, which not too many people run and use, but we do have Penny that has made a comeback recently, and we do have Deadpool X-Force, who is an absolute nuke as well. And not to mention that we still have the Juggernauts and the whatnots. Still, though, there is, in my mind, zero doubt that he will make himself a Battleground staple, Alliance War staple yet again. Like, I absolutely do not doubt the fact that once 7-star Nick Fury is available and out there, you will see him in just about every competitive deck, in just about every competitive meta, just like he used to. Because he's still quite unique. You still have to deal with that extended health pool. He still poses defensive threats by his, unblockable specials and stun immunity. And if you do make a mess up, the bleed can just end you. And there is a lot in his kit. So defensively speaking, I am 100% certain he is going to be making a comeback. Offensively speaking, now that's a bit different. But people do kind of forget how busted he can be offensively. Number one, obviously there's the questing thing when you do run him in his second life and he just nukes through everything. And that will be type of questing fun, which is not necessarily the most significant thing, but it's kind of cool to have. But realistically, he has always been a very solid Alliance War attacker because of the safety net. Because he does have a ton of useful abilities in shrugging off debuffs, in preventing evade, in accessing a ton of bleed, and preventing miss as well, and so on and so forth. All that on top of an incredibly huge safety net of the second life. And once you do enter that second life, if something does go wrong in Alliance War fight, you can just go for the nuke. And he does have some limited uses in Battlegrounds offensively too. There are champions that he will be doing well enough. And then there are always those clutch situations where you can take in Nick Fury, you will be taking the chip damage in suboptimal matchups, and then you can just time that LMD activation correctly and still be able to nuke down your opponent with that, tiny brief moment where your health bar is effectively invulnerable and slowly it starts to decay. And if you time it well enough and everything works out, you can do some crazy, crazy things with Nick Fury offensively too. So why am I placing him second? Well, quite frankly, because this is one of the most terrifying matchups, one of the most terrifying champions that exists. Like, if you see a skilled player with a Tiger, that's real. You know that you can do that fight in 20-some seconds. And I chose to put Tiger above that because what's the best way to put it? Whilst Nick Fury, I expect him to be present across the board in just about every meta. Tiger, I expect to be on the ban list in just about every match. On a personal level, if I'd see a rank 4 Tiger, that's an insta-ban. Nick Fury, probably, possibly. Tiger, definitely. If I would see a rank 3 Sig 200 Tigra and I wouldn't have mine in the deck, that would be insta-ban too. There's just no question asked. Because, you know, if opponent drafts Tigra and there's a matchup that she can do, that's a dub there. There are obvious issues with Tigra, most notably some of the chip damage she's going to be taking. But again, as a 7-star, rank 3, rank 4, with, you know, some armor or block proficiency stat focus, she's going to be chunkier than she ever has been. And then there's the AI. AI is like really the big thing, because Tiger fights can go wrong, because opponent can go for like 3 combos and not throw a heavy attack for you to punish, and then your senses fall off, and then the fight kind of escalates. So Tiger always carries like a certain demand of AI to be cooperative. Or if they don't throw a special attack on time, it can be annoying. But still, I think when it comes to, you know, just the intimidation factor and the nuke power, there's just quite nothing like Tiger if you're proficient in using her. Also, doing a good, great Tiger fight is just so satisfying. God, I want that. So there we go. I do think Tiger is the craziest champion in there. Which also kind of made me laugh when I read a forum post from one of the Kabam employees stating that the game just isn't ready to get a 7-star Hulkling and 7-star CGR and stuff like that. And the entire time I was just thinking, like, you idiots! Like, Tigra is faster and nukier in many, if not most matchups that you can use her than, let's say, Hulkling is. So, it makes no sense to me how the game can be ready for Tigra, but isn't ready for a 7-star Hulkling, for instance. Because again, just about everywhere, Tigra is going to be faster and crazier and more bonkers. So, I don't know about that, but the fact that Kabam is releasing her, quite insane. Also, when it comes to the 6-stone usage, Tigra obviously does demand it. So I think most of the players will have a choice to make. Whether you want to instantly Sig 200 your Tiger from the event, or you want to give those 6 stones to the Dark Phoenix and go for Prestige. I think most will choose Tiger, obviously. But that is a choice that I'm going to have to make. So again, I hope I explained my placements to a satisfactory degree. Again, it kind of sucks for Apoch though. Such an icon, but again, the fact that I have him as a 6-star rank 3 compared to this guy who is 6-star rank 5, I don't remember if I ascended him, this guy who definitely is 6-star rank 5 ascended, this guy, oh no wait, I think he's 6-star rank 4, anyways, this guy who's definitely 6-star rank 5 ascended, this girl who's definitely 6-star rank 5 ascended, ultimately kind of told me the answer in advance. This is the only champion that didn't get rank 5'd. This is the only champion, I think, that didn't get ascended. And these 3 did. So, that's the way I view the game. That's, you know, what I'm going to be gunning for and hoping for. Let me know your thoughts, and I am going to catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, we have all the information about the next